Today we're going to play a game called Let's Spot the Cyclist. Now, if you think about how local governments work, they get budgets for policing, building and all that type of thing. So I can only presume they've had a budget for all these cycle lanes in Glasgow, of which there's very many. You can see one in the left hand side as I'm driving up here. There's a cyclist, right? That's one cyclist. Now they're narrowing the streets in Glasgow. There's another couple of cyclists on the right hand side. They are narrowing the streets of Glasgow to put in cycle lanes. I think this is insanity personified. Have I got a downer in cycles or cyclists? Cyclists? No, I don't. However, Glasgow's a hilly city. Oh, hang on a second. Left hand side, two incoming cyclists, and they're not using the cycle lanes. I find that very interesting. Right, so where am I? Have I got a downer on cyclists? No, I do not. Why am I making this video? I think narrowing roads is a bad idea, especially in the city. Glasgow's a hilly place, and we're lucky if we get 60 to 100 days per year where it doesn't rain. So we've effectively made the roads narrower, which makes it harder for delivery vehicles and guys like myself to pull the van over to the side of the road to go and get stuff. I've seen people on Twitter moaning about vans parking in pavements and stuff like that. Right, that's understandable. A young couple just walked past there with a baby in a perambulator, a baby thing. It's hard to get a pram past a van that is parked on the pavement. However, I'm going to play the van driver's card in this one because I'm a guy that drives a van, and say if you have to pick up something that's heavy, you kind of want to get as close to wherever you need to put the load as you possibly can. Okay? I know we have things like barrows and all this type of stuff, but honestly, trust me, all my life I've moved heavy things about. It doesn't matter whether it's been lighting systems, sound systems, even just helping my friends move in and out of flats. Basically the key to manual handling is to get as close to where you want to put the gear as you can get it, so you do as little manual handling work as you can. Even if you read, there's governmental regulations from the Health and Safety Executive about manual handling. They say you've got to do it as little as possible because they know it does damage to human beings. So the point I'm trying to make here is they've narrowed down the roads. I'm not seeing this place full of cyclists. It is one of the few sunny days that we've had this year. We've even got the heating turned off in the van. So there's not a lot of cyclists out just now. We've seen two cyclists using the pavement rather than the cycle lanes. If you're an Amazon driver, everyone's getting everything delivered now, aren't they? Tesco are doing deliveries, Amazon are doing deliveries, everybody's doing deliveries. They've effectively narrowed the roads down. It's going to make it much more difficult to get stuff in and out. If I'm a van driver, I'm going to want to park over the cycle lane if I can't get close enough to where I'm dropping my stuff, or it's going to potentially do physical damage to my body. I'm of the thinking that doing physical work's actually good for you. Now, it's a form of exercise. I wouldn't go to the gym, but I've always done kind of physical jobs. Look at the state of these roads as well, right? So we've got all these cycle lanes under construction and roads that look like the surface of the moon. And again, I'm not seeing a lot of cyclists using these cycle lanes. So the next thing I want to add into this is, surely if you make the roads narrower, the effect of loading on the roads is going to go up, isn't it? If a road's 4 lane wide and you make it 2 lane wide. Twice the amount of traffic has to go into the 2 lanes as could have potentially used the 4 lanes. Is that part of the reason the roads in the city are so rough at the moment? Personally, I think the council's just ran out of money, which is shocking because they should be collecting a lot of cash. Glasgow's a big enough city to be quite wealthy, but it's, obviously the money's not filtering to the council, or it's getting spent on the wrong things, isn't it? So, just a little rant about, if you narrow the roads down to put in cycle lanes, effectively you're going to put more weight onto what existing road surface you have. That could potentially damage the roads more, maybe. And I'm not seeing a lot of people on push bikes using the cycle lanes on one of the better days that we get in this country. I've not got a downer in cyclists. However, before we started spending, how much is this costing? It must be a lot of money. Before we spent all that money in the cycle lanes, couldn't we have repaired the actual road surface? The city's like the surface of the moon. This morning I was working with a German guy and he says it's the same in Germany as well. It looks like Europe's ran out of money, which is remarkable because it's one of the wealthiest trading places on the planet. So you've got to ask yourself, where's all the money going? And I've said this repeatedly, a lot of people are putting Scotland and the UK's woes down to Brexit. I don't think it's down to Brexit. We've got a government who have a hard-on for wars, possible because they're all posh boys who have all got shares in BAE Systems and Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. And the more wars we've got, the more money they make. War is the ultimate racket. It's the most profitable business, the most profitable enterprise human beings do. It's the most technologically advanced thing human beings do. They would rather spend money flying jet fighters over Israel to stop the genocidal maniacs over there slaughtering kids. They would rather send billions into Ukraine to kill Russians and Ukrainians than they would fix the bloody roads. Right, there's a cyclist. I need to pull over before I get hung up. So, what have we got today? Do narrowing the roads damage the roads because you're putting more weight on the available spacing of roads? Shouldn't we fix the roads first? And I don't think there's a lot of, there's enough cyclists in Glasgow to warrant putting in all this infrastructure. There's a few cyclists, watch my videos, I'm sure I'm going to get a new butthole torn for myself. However, Glasgow is wet, Glasgow is hilly, Glasgow is windy, Glasgow is cold. So there we go, a wee Zambo rant. And my mate Neil, he said that he quite likes the driving about videos, and I'll put Paul and Fianna's travels in a link to their videos as well. Paul travels around Glasgow and gives us the lowdown on the different areas and stuff like that. So from a beautiful spring day in Scotland, are the cycle lanes worth it? Shouldn't we be repairing the roads? Why not? Why didn't they put the cycle lanes on the pavements or something like that? I don't know. I remember years ago I read a thing by Xi Jinping. I don't know, it may not have been Xi. It was from one of the top guys in the Chinese government, and I remember reading it, and he said that anytime you slow down the movement of people or goods across a country, you slow down the country's economy. So while we are bringing in 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, the Chinese government have the largest high-speed rail network in the world. So remember that one. Anytime you slow down the movements of goods or people across a country, the country's economy slows down as well. Alrighty, Zambo rant. It's all going down in old Zamdog television. Paul and Fianna's travels. I'll stick a link in there in the description box for anybody that's interested in just having a wee look at this wonderful city that we all love and adore. Thank you all for watching. Bye.